Hi everyone, Carrie Lee here with Pura Vida Vitality and Nutrition, and today's video is going to be based on the anti-inflammatory diet and why you may want to choose to eat an anti-inflammatory diet, and also what inflammation can do. So a lot of people think of inflammation such as when you sprain yourself and you've got like a sprained ankle or some joint inflammation. You see the initial redness and swelling and things like that. But there's actually something known as total body inflammation or whole body inflammation. And this can actually result in things such as cancer and heart disease, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, asthma, MS and lupus, irritable bowel disease, celiac, Crohn's, colitis, also skin issues such as eczema and psoriasis have an inflammatory component. So as you can tell, there's a whole bunch of conditions that sort of have an inflammatory component. And one of the things that you can do if you're suffering from one of these conditions, or on the other hand, if you want to protect yourself from getting one of these conditions, is focus on eating an anti-inflammatory diet. So inflammatory foods are things such as animal products and also some of the vegetable oils that are kind of gone rancid, and processed foods. So animal foods, even if they are sort of more of a healthy choice, are high in what is known as arachidonic acid. So this can be meats and dairy, they are high in what's known as arachidonic acid, which actually leads to an inflammatory pathway in the body. So that's why, for example, in the case of gout, this is definitely also known as an inflammatory condition, and it's from the high purines found in animal products such as meat and dairy and cheeses and things like that. So people that do have gout and that are still suffering from this condition today are actually told to eat an anti-inflammatory diet and told to stay away from a lot of the animal products. And this is simply because, as I said, this is an anti-inflammatory diet, and therefore we are going to see less inflammation throughout the body. So animal products is number one. Processed foods and fast foods and basically anything that's canned or packaged in any way, shape, or form is also typically higher in the omega-6. And this is because a lot of the time the preservatives or the vegetable oils that they're using in that sort of product are high in omega-6 fatty acids. And again, can also lead down the inflammatory pathway. And then the third thing, as I just briefly mentioned as well, are rancid vegetable oils. So if you're using canola oil or vegetable oils in cooking or Crisco or anything like that, these are also known to be very, very high in omega-6 fatty acids as opposed to omega-3 fatty acids, and can also lead to inflammation throughout the body. So what is an anti-inflammatory diet? Well, anti-inflammatory is sort of the opposite of inflammatory in the sense that we're focusing on more plant-based foods. So if you're eating lots of brightly colored fruits and vegetables, organic whenever possible, and a lot of it raw, you'll have all the building blocks and materials that your body needs to help build healthy cells. And this is indeed an anti-inflammatory way to go, absolutely. So again, if you're suffering from one of these conditions, we'll see a complete decrease or a huge decrease in these, sometimes even a complete cessation in any of these signs and symptoms. And then also you can eat anti-inflammatories to sort of prevent further any future health issues that you may have that sort of have an inflammatory component. So we're going to also be focusing, apart from the fruits and vegetables, on a diet that's high in omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids are things like fish. So a lot of people think of salmon as a very heart healthy fish. It can also be things like mackerel and cod. Haddock, anchovies, and sardines are good as well. And I mean, unfortunately, the only problem with eating a lot of fish is we're so worried about the mercury contamination. So, I mean, you can check out the Environmental Working Group online, and they should have a little bit more information on which fish that you can have that are a little bit less toxic, so to say, in the mercury department than others. And these you can include on a little bit more of a regular basis, usually about once or twice a week is good. And then also for omega-3s, it's good to focus on things like flax and hemp. Hemp seeds are absolutely delicious and wonderful. You can add flax seeds or hemp seeds on top of a smoothie, or mixed into a smoothie or a parfait, or even just on some toast, even on a salad, sprinkling them on a salad. And an absolutely wonderful way to get fiber, a lot of fiber, as well as it's very high in omega-3 fatty acids, which does have an extremely anti-inflammatory component. Also, some nuts and seeds. So again, chia seeds are really good as well, and you can put these into a smoothie. They do kind of gel up though, so you want to make sure that you're kind of drinking that smoothie as soon as you possibly can. And then also Brazil nuts and walnuts and sesame seeds and some of the other raw as opposed to roasted nuts and seeds are going to have a high omega-3 consistency as well. And then you can focus on some of the more healthy vegetable oils that will be anti-inflammatory. Things such as coconut oil, palm oil is absolutely wonderful for cooking as well. And olive oil, even though it's not high in omega-3 or 6, it's actually high in omega-9s, which is not essential, does have a very anti-inflammatory component, especially in the case of heart disease. It's been sort of researched very extensively in heart disease, and people that have olive oil on a daily basis see a huge decrease in their progression of heart disease. So that's an oil that you can definitely enjoy. And then some other ones are just like you can buy hemp oil, you can buy sesame oil, and those are a little bit more of a better quality than some of the other oils that you may find, some of the other vegetable oils that you may find on the store shelf. And make sure that when you are buying it, you're buying organic when possible, and you're also focusing on cold pressed. So cold pressed is a good way to go, and that way that we know that when it's been manufactured, if let's say in olive oil as an example, when they're pulling the oil out of that olive, it's not been heated up, and therefore it sort of oxidizes and causes some rancidity. And so now if you've got an oxidated oil, you'll have some free radicals throughout the body that cause a lot of damage. And so this is why we want to focus on a cold pressed oil, because now when they're pulling the oil out of that nut or seed or olive, you know, it's done in a very, very safe and effective manner, and that way we're sort of preserving that and reducing any of the issues with free radical damage that's occurring. So please check me out on Facebook at www.puravitavitality.ca. That's also my website, and there's a little link on my website that you can click over for Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever social media you're into. And stay tuned for more great health videos. And you can check me out on my YouTube channel at Carrie Lee RHN. Have an awesome day.